All right, let's talk about a tool you probably use every single day, but maybe not quite right. I'm talking about the humble bullet point. We're going to take it from just a simple list maker to, seriously, your most powerful tool for getting your point across.
So let me ask you something. Think about the last email you sent. Be honest. Was it just a giant wall of text, or could someone look at it for like 2 seconds and get the main idea? Yeah? If you're hesitating a little, don't worry, you are not alone. It's so easy to get caught up in what we're writing that we totally forget about how people are actually going to read it.
And that is exactly where these little guys come in. See, bullet points aren't just for decoration. They are precision tools. Their whole job is to cut through the noise, bring some order to the chaos, and make your message crystal clear. They're basically the antidote to information overload.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, here's a secret. A great list doesn't actually start with the first bullet. Nope, it starts with the sentence right before it. Let's build that foundation.
And what's awesome is that this one perfect example from our source material, it has everything we need. We're just going to use this simple list about summer plans to unpack all the rules for a flawless, bulleted list.
Okay, let's zoom in on the very beginning here. See that line, plans for the summer holiday? That's your lead-in. It sets the stage, tells your reader exactly what's coming. And that colon at the end? Oh, that is crucial. It's like the gateway to your list. It's the little signal that says, hey, pay attention, the good stuff is right here.
All right, foundation is set. Now let's dive into the 4 golden rules that'll make your lists look super clean and professional. It really is all about the little details.
Rule number 1. This is the one that trips everyone up, capitalization. To cap or not to cap? Seriously, the answer is way simpler than you'd think.
Here's the deal, and this slide lays it out perfectly. If your bullet point is just a phrase, a fragment, like finish reading Harry Potter, we start it with a lowercase letter. That's it. The only time you use a capital letter is if the bullet itself is a complete sentence. See? Simple.
Okay, moving on to rule number 2. This is all about what you do at the end of the line. And you guessed it, it all comes down to whether you're using a short phrase or a full-on sentence.
This table makes it super clear. For short phrases, just like in our summer plans list, you put nothing, no punctuation at the end. You just leave it hanging. But if every bullet point was a complete sentence, well, then each one would get its own full stop. You know, a period.
And that leads us perfectly into our third big rule. This one's super simple, easy to remember, and it is non-negotiable. I like to think of it as the anchor for the whole list, the final stop.
Okay, listen up, because this is a big one. No matter what, the very last item in your list always gets a full stop. Always. Look back at our example. Put up my posters. Even though it's just a phrase, it gets that period, because it's the end of the line. It's the signal that says, okay, we're done here. It just gives it that nice, clean finish.
So we've gone through all the nuts and bolts, but let's zoom out for a second. Why does any of this matter? Why do these tiny little grammar rules actually have a huge impact on how you communicate?
All right, let's do a super quick recap. Your checklist. Start with a lowercase letter unless it's a full sentence. Don't put any punctuation at the end of your phrases. Do use punctuation for full sentences. And what's the last one? You got it. Always put a full stop after that very last point. Easy. Because look, this isn't just about being a grammar nerd. When you make a list that's clean, that's consistent, that follows these simple rules, you're sending a message. You're showing your reader that your thinking is clear. It screams professionalism, attention to detail, and maybe most importantly, it shows that you respect their time.
So leave you with a question. Your next email, your next report, heck, even your next grocery list. Where are you going to use these rules to make your message just a little bit clearer? All right, that's all for this one. Now go make your point.